Sorry, but we're just about closed for the... Oh, sweetness. Hello there. What a pleasant surprise this is. Being blessed with your presence at the end of a very long shift. Did you happen to see my pretty face through the cafe window and decide to pop in? Very kind of you. Yes, I was just about to lock up so I could clean, but luckily for you, I'm the only one here on the closing shift, so I don't have to leave right away. It's chill here like that. What that means, though, is we can have this whole cafe to ourselves, and no one would be able to disturb us. If you're comfortable with that, of course. If you actually want to have, well, what would be our first date somewhere else, a place of your choosing, or somewhere where you're comfortable, that's fine too. I don't want to pressure you or anything. You happy here? Alright. Why don't I make you something? You can pick out a table or a booth and I'll be with you in just a minute. Hugo sweetness, made with tender love and care. For myself, though, I just made a matcha latte with a bit of white chocolate shaved on top. Honestly, it's the perfect drink after a long shift. Just enough sugar to get me home so I can pass out. So, how's your drink, sweetness? Is it to your liking? Oh, good. I'm glad. Good question. I've been a barista for a year now, and I've basically worked at this cafe the whole time. It's pretty convenient, since this cafe is on campus at the University of Carharlin, and I live quite close by. So, if I have classes in the morning, I can work in the Arvo, or vice versa. Yeah, it's a pretty good arrangement, especially since my boss is enchanted. So if I have something like a pack battle going on, I can be honest about my commitments. All the businesses, so like the bookstores, convenience stores, the cafes and eateries at UOK are owned by the uni, and by proxy enchanted people. Yeah. The uni itself was founded by enchanted people. I think, at least. I know at the very least that the entirety of the current board, including the Chancellor and Vice-Chancellor, are enchanted. So, it's just easier, I guess, for the on-campus businesses to be run by enchanted people. And on the topic of that, actually, a question about your being enchanted. Have you had a chance yet to visit the Faculty of Maya? No? That's okay. It's late in the Arvo now, so they're probably closing soon. But I can take you another time, and that's no dramas. After all, I promised Ian that I would show you the ropes of being enchanted at University of Carharlin. And it gives me an excuse to see your pretty self at a future time, so I'll look forward to it. Oh, seeing you get flustered is so cute. You want to know a bit about my magic? Nice topic change. Did I make you too flustered? Of course, I can tell you all about it, sweetness. I'm glad you asked. So, I am enchanted. That means I show proficiency in one area of magic. Not everyone can become enchanted, and we don't really know what the qualifications for it are. Before I met you, I thought it was only people with a passion or a desire to pursue magic further who could become enchanted. On reflection, that was probably a little bit of sampling bias on my end. Which is nerd speak for the only people I've ever met who are or were enchanted are or were enrolled at the University of Carharlin, one of only 2 magical universities in the Asia Pacific. So, of course, they'll have a determination to pursue magic, because they're already at university to study it, if that makes sense. But you, sweetness, had no idea Maya existed before you met Ian. So how could you, with no connection to Maya, see through his illusion magic? How and why are you enchanted? Sorry. I got sidetracked. To answer your question, my specialty with magic is arbor. I believe the traditional word for it is tegnos, but it's essentially grass and nature type magic. Dendro, if you know of Genshin Impact. I also have an imbue. If you look at my hand, it's this ring with, surprise, surprise, an emerald on it that I received from my late grandfather. An imbue, right. It's an item that enchanted people have. It contains their link to their power. They say that when a god looks upon you with favor, they grant you the ability to imbue an item with their strength. But that's just hearsay. I don't know if that's true or not. I like being enchanted with arbor. It works well for both offense and utility. I can summon vines to use as whips, or roots to ensnare enemies' feet and trip them or slow them down temporarily. I can also absorb the power of the sun and use it as a beam of light to... Sweetness, I have taken a lot of inspiration from Pokemon. But who hasn't? Fire, Earth, Arbor, and Air, the 5 main types of magic, are all in Pokemon. Well, Pokemon types. And everyone played Pokemon as a kid, right? Hey, I still play Pokemon. All the cool kids do. Magic is mine to control, and it does as I say. So, if I'm fighting someone, why would I not use moves that are inspired by the ones I grew up using? Oh, come on, Sweetness. Once we find out what your specialty in magic is, you can do the exact same thing. Wouldn't that be fun? Anyway, because my specialty is Arbor, I have a connection to plants. I can make a prayer, that is essentially cast a spell, and a withered plant can find life anew. Or I can look at a plant and tell you if it's poisonous or not. But for me, as a barista, personally, it's useful to have this connection to nature. I can tell the quality of ingredients like coffee beans, matcha powder, or teas, thanks to my affinity to Arbor, and my heightened sense of smell as a werewolf contributes as well. It helps me to make super high quality drinks, and then seeing people smile after taking a sip of something I made for them just makes me so happy. Like yours, Sweetness. Seeing your beautiful smile after taking a sip of the drink I made for you, it made me happy. I'm grateful I can use my abilities to make other people happy. So that's why I've really enjoyed working as a barista. Even if that means being given coffees from my coworkers, even when I don't really want them. That's because, unfortunately, caffeine doesn't really do much for me. So I very rarely actually want a cup of coffee. I'm much more of a tea person, in all honesty. A nice cup of Assam tea really hits the spot. Oh, caffeine? Yes. When you're incanted, the magic does a pretty good job of protecting your body from diseases and harmful substances. That also includes caffeine. I don't really care. I'm not the type to pull all-nighters to finish assignments anyway. So, Sweetness. Sorry that our first date was just, a coincidence kind of thing. I wanted to call you to organize something properly, but after we met at that Halloween party, I ended up getting busy with some other things, as well as exams and assignments, and that meant I could only really text you in my free time. So, sorry we went all that time and I didn't ask you out. And thank you for being patient with me. Thank you, sweetness. I appreciate it. Oh, a real first date? Now? Yeah, I don't have any other plans right now. There's a restaurant nearby you'd like to try? Hell yeah, I'd bluff that. Here, let me quickly wash these cups and properly close the store. And then, in the meantime, you can make a booking for two. This little meeting at this cafe, it can be our pre-date to our first date. How does that sound? I'm glad. It sounds great, sweetness. So, let's get this first date started then, shall we?